So this is the 68 RFE transmission, and I am going to service this. I'm going to drain the fluid. This is not the standard pan that comes on here. I ordered this aftermarket pan from AutoZone because it has a drain bolt, which makes it a lot easier. Because if you notice, most transmission pans, they come without a drain bolt, and when you loosen it, all the fluid just comes out, right? So this one, it has a drain bolt here, and it's a 17 millimeter. So I'm going to take this off and quickly roll my behind out of the way. And I've got my drain pan here up under it. So let me get a ½ inch and take this. I don't know the torque specs on the bolt, but when I put it back on, I am going to torque it at the same amount that I torque the oil pan. I'm going to torque it at 35 foot-pound when I take it off. So it didn't specifically call for. I had a torque spec that I'm aware of when I initially got it, but I will torque it back on. That didn't take much at all. I don't even think that's torqued down at 35 foot-pound. Maybe I'll try to look it up while I'm letting this oil drain. And I can't finish loosening that by hand. Has a little gasket on here too. Gonna make sure I don't drop this gasket. Gotta right here clean my hand and clean this little bolt. So then I've got to loosen these bolts around here. These are, oh, I forgot about those. I think they are 10 millimeter bolts. I'm not sure. But let me go find a socket. While I'm waiting for this oil to finish draining, though, what I'm going to do is go and look for my gasket scraper. Because when I take this pan down, I'm going to have to scrape all the old gasket off of here before I put new gasket on, before I put the pan back up. And then once I scrape all the old gasket off, once it's ready to go back up, I'll put it back up with the new gasket on and let it sit for a few hours before I actually add the fluid. That way we can make sure that the gasket is properly hardened and sealed and doesn't contaminate with the fluid. So I'm going to let this keep draining for a bit. Make sure I put this gasket off to the side, and I'm looking on this bolt. It doesn't have anything about torque spec, so when I put it back down, I'll just kind of tighten it with the same feel that I have. I'll still torque my wrench at 35 foot-pounds just to see if it's if I get that feel before it reaches 35 foot-pounds. I don't want to over tighten it, but that makes it a lot easier when you've got one with the bolt. It's less messy. Without the pan, it is extremely messy. So, okay, so I went and got my scraper, got everything I needed, and these bolts are actually not 10 millimeter. They're actually 7 millimeter bolts. So I'm going to start loosening here from the side, and then what I'll do, I'll loosen with this little small handheld, and then when it's time for me to put them back in there, actually let me go and get my little impact so it can make it. I got a long impact that once I break it free, I can just zip them out of there. It'll take me less time. So I'll loosen them this way, the quick way, and then when I put them back on, I'll fasten them, just get them snug with this little small thing, my little handheld, and then I'll torque them down. And I don't know the torque specs off of my head, but I'll find out, and I gotta look it up, and then I'll share it. But let me go get my other wrench. Okay, I got this. This is a little light impact, and that'll help me get them off faster. But when you're putting them in, you definitely don't want to put any transmission bolts in with the impact wrench. See, that works faster than me just having to scrape. And I might sound a little weird for saying this. You got some of the sealant still on the bolts, which is fine, some of the old gasket. But when I take my bolts out, I kind of like to put them back in the same order. It's just a me thing. So I'm lining them up as I take them out of here. It's just a me thing. That's it. I just like to, it's just something that I like to do. There we go. See how much faster that is? I'm just putting the bolts in order. Come on. There we go. Alright. That's the 4 to the top. Now I'll start back on this side that I'm on. Get these off. I'm going to have to turn this way just to give myself a little more room. This thing is kind of long. There we go. Got that one. That's the first one going down. And see, the same way same hole I take the bolts out, I'll just throw them back in that same hole. Anyway, so I don't make this video too long, I'm gonna pause it while I continue to loosen this side and the back side. Then I'll come over to the other side. Let me pause it. Okay, got all the bolts out except this one back here. I can't remember what happened. I'm assuming for the previous video I did over, I don't know how long ago, but I probably explained it in that video. I'll go back and watch it because I did another video on the transmission service prior, and this bolt is a different bolt, so I'm assuming this hole going into the transmission or something bolting this up, it may have been a little too big or the bolt didn't sit right, and so I upgraded this bolt. This is a 11 millimeter bolt, and I've got the nut on the back side of it. So I'm not sure what happened right here on this corner, but I've got a different size bolt in here on the back right side. So I'm just gonna take my time and put a wrench on this nut here to hold it while I just kind of break it free. Make sure I get this. Is it breaking free? Wait a minute. I want to script it. Definitely don't want to do that. Okay. Oh yeah, it is breaking free. I was looking up there to see. It's coming out. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is, let me see, this nut, that nut is not moving, so I don't know if that nut was moving. Now it's moving just a little bit. There it is. Yeah, this hole was kind of funny. Yeah, that's why. Oh, okay. It didn't. That's why I put the nut on the other side, because it wasn't sitting well in there. So anyway, that was that. I guess it wasn't sitting too well in there, so I'll put this over here out of the way. But I wanted to share that. That's all I did, is got a slightly bigger bolt. And now that I've got all the bolts out, make sure I got a piece of tissue handy. because it's time for this pan to be come down. And when we pull this pan down, we got to be careful not to bend it, but it's gonna have to be pried down just a little bit. So if a flathead or something has to go in there just to pry it down. Let me go and get my what do I need? Oh, I got a rubber mallet right there. See, it's kind of sealed on there. So you got to kind of I'll get on the edge where I got this different bolt. And try to get my flathead in there. And just fry it just a little bit. You don't want to bend the pan. That would not be good. It's sealed on there really, really good. Once one side pops loose, it'll be easier. This thing is sealed on there. In it anywhere. Just pry it in several little spots. Just to create a little seal. Once I get a little opening, it'll be easier just to peel the rest of it off. Got this bad boy sealed up good, which is a good thing. You don't want it leaking. You want to seal it good, but the heat also seals it as well. Uh-oh, I got an opening, baby. Uh-oh, I got an opening. Go too far open because I don't want to bend the pan. It is open right there on this corner right here. Let me try further down. This side. There's a little small little opening right here. It's sealed on there, baby. I don't want to scrape the... Okay, I got a gap. I scraped the transmission a little bit right there, but it's not bent. The pan is not bent. Come on. Oh, I can hear the pan is empty. I can just get it in there just a little bit more. Try not to work on this corner so much. Go further down. Go right here. Do it with my little baby screwdriver right here. Let's try right here. There we go. Come on. We gotta open it. Let's see. Let's go up some more. That's to open it. Oh, there go more fluid. This coming from the back. Let me do it with my piece of paper. There we go. This fluid coming on this back corner. So I gotta tilt this to catch the drip, baby. Catch the drip. Dripping even more. Oh shucks, I want to knock that down. There we go. There we go. So I'll take this down carefully because it is more fluid in that corner. I didn't beat the transmission up too bad, but you can see here, I don't know if you can see here, it chipped just the corner some. So I'll be sure to make sure I got it sealed. Add a good bit of, oh. This is why I'm glad I put the mat down right here in the driveway. Now, this pan is out of the way. I'm gonna wash it down, wipe it down, not wash it down. And what I'll do is I'll waste some fluid on here. So now I'm gonna go and clean this pan, all the gasket off of here. You guys can come with me. So yes, this fluid was dirty. Sometimes checking it, what I'm seeing now, sometimes checking it on the stick doesn't do it justice. You can see the dirt down up in here. It's got a magnet in here. You got to clean this off. This catches, you know, when you have metal parts moving together, just like the rear differential, there's a magnet that I showed in a video. When you pull off that rear differential, the bolt to the fill bolt, there's a magnet on the back side of the bolt. And what that does is, as the metal gears are moving together, turning the vehicle, they sometimes chip off like little small tiny fragments over time. And so periodically it's good to take that metal bolt out and clean all that metal off of there. And it's just like a transmission. When those metal parts constantly move around in there, changing the gears as you drive, as we drive our vehicles, little fragments. See, you can see not a lot, but sometimes you may see small little fragments, and that's what this does. This is supposed to catch that. And so I'm just cleaning this pan. I'm gonna need another piece of paper towel, so
I'll be back. And then I've got to clean all of this gasket off. That's what takes me a while sometimes, just scraping this stuff off. I've got a plastic gasket scraper, and looking at this side here, I'm feeling it. I did not bend this like I did my first time. I see a little scrape here where I scraped some of the paint by sticking that thing in here, but it's not bent. So this is, I don't have to worry about anything when I put it back together. I just got to make sure that I get every last bit of this old gasket off, because what that'll do is with this old gasket on, it'll prevent it from creating a seal, right? So I'm gonna make sure to get this new, this is what I got in my pocket here, a gasket maker. So I'm gonna make sure that I get a good seal. But anyway, let me go get me another piece of see how dirty this is. This wood was really begging to be changed, and from the looks of things, it's not even a lot of metal fragments in here. Just small tiny pieces that were attached to this, which is normal. When my first transmission failed, it was so much metal up in there, because I believe that they make them with this plastic bolt, and I believe that bolt, the spin-on filter, when it spins on with the plastic bolt, and I believe that bolt got brittle and the whole filter dropped down. But I changed out the spin-on filter and the bolt in this one. So I removed the metal. That's the first thing I did when I first got this transmission. When I first had to go into it, I removed that plastic thing, that plastic bolt that the spin-on filter spins on, and I put a metal one in. I'll show you, but let me go get a more paper towel. Now that looks brand new. Clean on the inside, fresh on the outside. What that song? So now this pen has a scrape in it. Okay. So now, oh, before I forget, let me sit this metal bolt back in here. Got little debris in here. It's gonna collect more debris. I'll wipe it again. Just wanted to kind of clean it all out first, so I can put my hand and stuff on it. And now I want to take out these gloves and scrape this thing. These gloves keep kind of sliding, but I want to clean all the oil first. So I'm gonna put the gloves there, and then now I've got plastic blades. I've got metal blades that fit in here too. I got plastic blades as well, metal and plastic blades. The plastic blades are good because it'll help not scrape up the pan, you know. But this is all I'm gonna do, is just go around with this. See how much easier it makes it when you've got this blade, and then you don't have to worry about damaging the pan. I'll clean it back out once I, get all this off. This is pretty much all I'm gonna do here, is just take my time. And this is why I like, for the weather, when I'm working outside and stuff, especially doing this kind of stuff, I don't like to rush. I like to take my time, just give it tender, loving care, right? Get everything off really good. See how that is? See, that part is clean. And then I just go all the way around and do the same thing. Of course, the bigger pieces are going to be easier to come off. You can practically pretty much peel those off, which is what I was doing earlier. See, they'll be much easier. And you want to make sure when we put the gasket back on, that's why I'll make sure I got a good sealing on there to create that. I like how it created this border for the inside and a one on the outside. That way, make sure we don't get a leak. Yep. So anyway, I'm in the sun right now. I'm about to move. I'm gonna stop this video and I'm gonna go sit in the shade and take my time and get all this from around there as much as I can, and then clean the pan back out, and then I'll get to the next thing, which is get up under the truck and take the filters off and put the new filters on. Bada boom, bada bing. I found this as I'm scraping the mat, as I'm steady scraping this thing off. I found this little dent when I was putting this flathead there. I actually dented this piece, and it's real small, but it's like a sharp, uneven, smooth piece. I'm just going to take this file here and just go over it. Now I've already filed it down. That's how small it was. Now it's back smooth again. Yep, it's all smooth again. Simple as that. Bada boom, bada bing. Alright, let me get back to scraping. I'm not even halfway done yet. But I just found that, so I was like, let me go ahead and fix it right away. And I'm going to pause this till I finish scraping this. Bada boom, bada bing. See how clean this is? Now, I'm just going to clean all the debris from the gasket that I got in there. And this is ready to be reused. And so, clean this out and sit this to the side. And then, what I do is get back up under the truck and go around the edges of the transmission. And it shouldn't be none on that side with all of it on this side, but there may be just a bit that needs to be scraped off of there. And again, with these plastic scrapers, you can't really go wrong. You can't really damage and chip up. You can't damage and chip the metal when you're using a plastic scraper. When you're using a metal scraper, you got to be careful not to cut into the metal. But with the plastic scraper, you can apply as much pressure as you pretty much need to and not have to worry about chipping into the metal. So now let me get back up under the truck and see what's on there. Okay, so my tripod won't stand up by itself anymore because of the glue that I had down on it. But this is the transmission, and as you can see, oh, I got some scraping to do up under here too, baby. So let me take my time and get the scraping. But this is the filter. This is the spin-on filter that needs to come off. And this is actually a transmission dipstick. When you check the transmission fluid, that's the dipstick, right? But I've got to scrape all this gasket off here before I put that new that pan back on. And this this press-in filter is behind where I was saying that gasket is, that bolt, that gasket, that metal gasket that sometimes get stuck. But this takes a T-socket. This right here takes a T-socket right there to come off. You got to take that bolt off, and then you'll be able to pull this gasket down and just pop the new one on. Excuse me, it gets real simple from here. But anyway, I'm going to stop this video now because I got to take my time and scrape all of this gasket right there off. And then once I get all the gaskets scraped off, I'll take the filters off and get the new one on. Yep, so let me get this scraping. This is another thing showing that the fluid was dirty. See the spin-on filters? See how I wiped that? How one side is clean and then see how that's the dirt. So yeah, this fluid was dirty. Right? I gotta get a wrench to take this filter off. But I'm still scraping the gasket, but I just wanted to show that. See the dirt from on the filter? Yep. And imagine, you know, paying somebody to do this job for you. They got to take their time to do this, you know. A lot of people don't take their time to do things right. Some people wouldn't take their time and just scrape all this old stuff off of here like that. They probably wipe it down, get a little bit off, but take time, tender loving care, get it done right. It'll take care of you. All right. That's just my little 2 cents. Got all the gasket cleared out. I don't know why my phone turned this way. But anyway, this is a T25 torque. So this is a T25. I'm just going to break that loose. And I can unscrew this by hand. And I got to hold the phone. Because it's not. Now that bolt is out. And I'm just going to clean it off. And sit it right here above my head. And you see this old filter. It just comes. Ugh, gosh. Oh shoot, I spilled some. Some of the fluid was inside of there. And I got some on my tool, on my light, on my Milwaukee light. Cleaning that off. Moving this up some so it can catch that fluid. But yeah, so you see here, that's where that, let me turn this backlight off, see if that'll help. Yeah. Alright, that's the gasket right there. And this gasket is like, I've tried to get the old one off. You can, it's like meshed on there. Alright, it doesn't even come off. I was going to try to get it off by when I move this filter. See the small space? So I need something small to get in there and kind of break it. But you know what? I could feel the little pieces where I tried to get it off last time. I think I'm going to leave it alone. I think I'm going to leave it alone. I ain't going to try to get it off again. Because it's such a small space. But we'll see. Now I've got to take this off. This spin-on filter off. And where's the, I gotta hook my wrench on it. When you torque this back down, this needs to be torqued at 7 foot-pounds. And these bolts, the transmission bolts, I don't know if I mentioned it, these need to be torqued at 9 foot-pounds. You don't want to over torque them. They call for 12 Nm. What's it stand for? Newton measures. 12 Newton measures. Torque it down at 12 Newton measures, or which is equivalent to about 8.85 when I looked it up, foot-pounds. So it's kind of hard to get 8.85. So you just say 9 foot-pounds. Don't go over 9 foot-pounds torquing the transmission pan bolts down. So I'm going to get my wrench on there and loosen the spin-on filter now. So guys, this right here, it actually doesn't work for me. See, this is a size 14. You see how it keeps spinning? So it's not gripping the filter properly. So I've got to try another filter wrench, which I've got one right here. And maybe I used this the last time, who knows. But obviously when you use this, it's going to bite into it and you won't be able to use it again. But let's see. Or maybe I need to put the phone down. Yep, this one has got it. It's spinning it off of there. It grips it. There we go. Now I need to put this down because once I go to pull this up, it's gonna drip some more. Let me make sure I got a napkin. Oh, I thought I was able to get it by hand. It felt like it was spinning so freely. There we go. I should be able to get it by hand now. There we go. Oh, let me make sure. Oh, yeah. There we go. This is starting to drip even more. dripping even more. I don't know why my little sticker on the tripod had broke, so I went and nigger rigged it and bought a sticker magnet, and it just fell down, so it won't stick. Why is this just spinning in that one spot? It's already loose. Oh, there we go. It's holding on. See that bolt up there? I shared that in the last video. I don't know how I'm gonna torque it down to 7 foot-pounds if I can't get a filter wrench on there. Obviously I'll just not do it too tight. But I shared that right there. That comes plastic. When it originally comes from the manufacturer, that bolt right there is plastic. And I don't know why they would build a transmission like that, but they did it. That's a plastic bolt. So I took it off. I took the plastic one out and replaced it with this metal. This is a metal piece that's up there. It's a metal piece now, because over time that plastic gets brittle and then it breaks. Yep. So I'll let that drip just a little more, and I'm tempted to see if I'm going to try to get that gasket out and put a new one in. Might just leave that alone because it is meshed on there really, really good, even though I bought those chisels. But when I open the chisels, they're pretty long. They're not like short like how I thought it would be, because I wish I had something to get in here that would be kind of short. But I probably still could bang it out, but I just don't feel like it. It's the same one that I left in there last time, and I could feel the little ridges on the side where I kept trying to chip away at it and get it out the last time, but I wasn't able to. So I'll just leave it in there. Yep. But anyway, once this finishes dripping, then I'm gonna add the I'm gonna put the new ones on. So I'll let that have its little way. So if you get a new filter and you see this little pieces in it, it's the right filter. It just needs this. I don't know why they send these with it in there, because it's a hole, you can see straight through it. But you just got to take this, unscrew this center piece out and screw the filter back up. And so that's what I'm about to do. Got it out. Now I'm ready to put this bad boy back up. It's still draining, but hey. See, normally sometimes I would let this thing sit overnight when I like to change, let it sit overnight, but I ain't got time for all of that. I need to get this back up. I'm gonna change the majority of the fluid, so it's gonna keep coming for a while. I'm gonna just go ahead and add this filter back. See, it's gonna keep dripping, right? So I'm gonna put this new filter back on. Okay, got that back on. And I guess hand tightening it will be good at about 7 foot-pounds for me. It should be hand tight. I don't want to over tighten it, so I guess that's good right there, because I think my hand strength is stronger than 7 foot-pounds, so I'll leave it right Okay, that should be good right there. Got it on. Now it's time to put the other filter back on. I'm just going to leave that same gasket up there. I'm not even going to bother that gasket. I'm going to leave that gasket right up there. I tried to pry and pry and pry the last time to get it out, and I couldn't get it out. So even though I was going to try to get it out this time, I'm not going to try. I'm kind of ready to be done, because after I put this filter on, after I put the filters on, after I put the pan on, it's got to sit for a while so the gasket can cure. So what I'll do while I let the gasket sit, because it looks like it wants to rain, because I still got to do a transmission relearn. So what I'm going to do is I'll this is how the new gasket looks, just like that, and it just pushes right back up in that hole. So what I'm going to do is, once I get the pan back on, and I'm gonna sit that right up in there. I probably need the other hand, because it pushes. It actually pushes up in there. There we go. And that's in there. Is that in there right? Don't feel like it, because I gotta bolt this thing. Oh, there it is. I gotta bolt it back there. So, there we go. Looks like it's in there properly. Now I can get the bolt back on. And what I'll do is, while I am waiting on what am I trying to say? Where's that little screw? Oh, here it is, that T25 screw. Wait a minute. So while I'm waiting for the pan to cure, I'm going to go inside and sanitize my eggs. I would cut the grass, but I don't want to cut the grass with my transmission open like that, and so much debris will be flying around. Where's my T25 wrench? Yeah, here it is. I gotta hold this camera because my tripod's magnet won't stick. So I'm just gonna tighten that back up. Alright. And that's good to go. Now I've got the filter changed. Both filters are changed. I got it clean. The old gasket clean. It's about as clean as I'm gonna get it. And now I'm about to go put the gasket maker on the pan. And once I get the gasket maker on the pan, I'm gonna slide up under here and throw all them bolts on, and then torque them back down at 9 foot-pounds. Let me go get the gasket maker on. And you know what I'm gonna do? I forgot. I just put this filter back on. I was up under here talking, and I didn't add a bit of fluid. Every time I put this filter back on, let me see if I can get it back off by hand, because I don't want to. Yeah, I can get it back off by hand. So let me add some fluid, because every time I put this on, I always add fluid. One of my buddies put me onto this. He said it's good to add just at least, even if you just fill it up halfway, because sometimes it sucks air into the transmission when you don't add fluid. And something else he was explaining, but it's a little bit too much for me to remember. But I just realized when I took this, when I was back up under here and stuck this back on, I didn't add fluid, and I didn't bend anything by hand tightening it. Yeah, so hand tightening it won't hurt. It calls for 7 foot-pounds if you've got a wrench, but if not, hand tightening it works. Let me add some fluid, then I'll pop it right back on up there. Okay, I got the filter back up there with a little bit of fluid in it. Now I'm going to use my silicone. Last time I used, what's that, gray? But I had this in the house. So I was like, you know what, I don't need to go buy no another one. I already got this, so I'm going to use this. Okay, let's try this. I got my phone sitting on the edge of the truck bin. So, we'll see. I think I'm gonna cut this right there just to see how it is for the first time. If I need it bigger, and I'll cut it bigger. Actually, let me start this way. Because which side did I pry? Okay, I pried that side over there. So let me start up here, going along the line, and go around the bolts really good. Get it around the bolts. Come back down. Come on. Oh shoot, I went in the bolt. I went in the bolt hole on that one. I want to go in the bolt hole. I want to go around the bolt hole. Come on. Uh-oh, I'm messing up. There we go. Go around. Around the bolt hole. Keep going. Keep going. Around the bolt hole. Around the bolt hole. Alright, come on. Come on, silicone. This thing hard to press out this little tube, man. This thing tight on my hand. Oh shucks, I messed up. Come on. Messed it up. Come on. Not that much left to go. Gotta squeeze you from the bottom. Might be using most of all this one. I definitely didn't use all of it on the last tube that I used. This is might be too big of a bead. Hopefully not. Hopefully it's not too big of a bead. Alright. I messed that up trying to show you. I think I messed that part up right there. But hopefully it all holds. Alright, so now let me see. Don't got nothing on the inside of the pan. So let me go put this up there and let's see what it does. So I got it up there and I'm just adding each bolt back by hand. I've got gasket coming out the darn bolt holes. I'm gonna go and I need my screw to get this. I had to get my ratchet to help me screw this one on, and I'm not tightening them. I'm just like hand tightening them, and then what I'm gonna do is okay, that's just hand tighten all of the bolts, and then what I will do is go and sanitize my eggs, which should take me about an hour, and then when I come back I'll torque them down. Yep, just hand tighten all of them. That's hand tight. That's hand tight. Get the rest on. I'm tightening my special bolt and the nut down, but not all the way. So I'm not tightening it all the way down. I don't even have these torqued all the way down. I just have them kind of just hand tighten, and then once I finish tightening this down, then I am done. I'm gonna go sanitize these eggs, and then I will come back out after I finish sanitizing the eggs, which will be over an hour, and then I'm gonna torque all of these down to 9 foot-pounds. By that time, within an hour, it should be good to torque down, and then within 24 hours it will be fully cured. But I'm not gonna wait 24 hours before I add fluid to it. But anyway, okay, it's been about 30 minutes. It's been about 30 minutes, so I'm gonna go ahead and I ain't been in the house yet to even start doing my eggs yet, but I put all my stuff up, and I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and torque these bolts down before I go inside. That way, because this stuff is going to continue to get harder and harder. And if I stay inside longer than an hour, I don't want to come and try to be out here fighting to torque these bolts down. So I already got my torque wrench set on 9. Make sure, because you don't want to over tighten it. I got it set on, what's it, back down to 8. I need to put the phone down. I had it set on 9 foot-pounds, but wait a minute. Okay, I had to get my wrench together. It was locking up. So I got that one clicked at 9. That one clicked at 9. They're not too far off. That one clicked at 9. That one clicked at 9. I'll come back to that side. I got that one up there I ain't forgot about. Oh, this wasn't even that far in there. That's at 9. Now let me put the phone down so I can go and stop going in order and just go in different zigzag. That's the best way to do it. Okay, got them all torqued down now. And what I had to do is I had to go around like 2 or 3 times because the back bolts back here, every time I torqued it at 9, but once I went around to make sure all the others were torqued up, a few of them, they needed to be torqued a little bit more. And so I kept going around until I got all of them kind of even. And they were all torqued down at 9 because some of them were still moving up, probably because some of the gasket makers in some of the holes and stuff. But anyway, now I feel better about going in the house, letting this sit. It takes about an hour, 2 hours to cure, which is in this spot is kind of cure, and then on the back is still kind of wet, but it takes a full 24 hours to fully cure. But being that the temperature that it is, I'm just going to go inside, do my eggs, and then I'll probably even cook dinner. I'm going to make some vegetable fried rice and some hemp seed oil, and then I'll come back out later. I left all of this excess that I got around here. Instead of wiping that away, I left that simply because I want to, when I come back, I want to see, just test it all around and see how much it really has cured, if it's fully cured, before I add fluid to it. Yeah, if not, if I don't feel good about it when I come back out, I'll just wait until in the morning to add fluid, because I don't want to add fluid in and then it's not fully cured. Right. Alrighty. Okay, family, I already cooked. I already sanitized eggs. The sealant is now cured around the outside of the pan, so I know that it's cured inside. It's going to continue to harden over the next several hours. It'll continue to harden. So I'm about to go ahead and add some fluid so I can get the transmission temperature up to operating temps. And one thing about the 68 RFE, it has to go through a trans relearn, but I want to make sure I got the fluid correct first. So I want to get it up to operating temperatures before I put the computer on it to do the trans relearn, and it don't even take that long. If you don't have a computer, you can go to the dealer, slowly drive to the dealer and let them do it. They won't charge you that much, but I think about a 140. Last time I checked, I think it was like 145. But that's just for them to put the computer on, and it really don't even take 5 minutes. So because this truck is tilted, I got it on the ramps, like it's tilted back in the air, so you can't go by. I know if you look up the normal specs for the 68RE, it'll tell you 67 quarts, but that's just for the transmission pan. This is on the ramps where it's jacked up in the air, so there's a transmission cooler up front. That means the fluid flows back that way as well. So all that fluid that kept coming while I had the pan off for a while, that's coming from the cooler. So it's going to take more than 6 to 7 quarts to fill back up, depending on how long you drain it. Sometimes, I remember one time when I changed it, it took me about 12 to 14 quarts because I let it sit overnight draining and stuff. And so this time I didn't let it drain as long as I've done in the previous times, but I know it's going to take more than 6 or 7 quarts. And the only way to be sure of how much it needs is just to start filling it up until it gets, while it's off, until it gets to the full line while it's off on the stick. And then I'm going to go ahead and add about 2 gallons, which will be about 8 quarts. And I know it's going to need more, but I'm going to add that. Let me put this thing in, and then we'll go from there, because when it starts to get hot, it should be at another level as well. When it reaches its operating temperature, when it gets hot, it reaches its operating temperature, then it'll need a little more as well. And so let's get the fluid going. So this is the best thing I can find. It's gonna take a little longer inside of this because it's not perfectly straight. So I just have to take my time and let it slowly fill up. And I don't want the transmission fluid to spill out over anything because it can be corrosive. So just slowly. This is going to take a minute doing it like this, because look at me saying I don't want it to spill over anything, but I'm spilling. Oh, it's leaking from the... I got some in this bottle here. Okay, now I've added 2 gallons, and let's see, I'll put the stick back in. Let's see what the stick says. Okay, the stick is showing that it's all the way full past the hot line, right? So what I have to do now, because I have it on the incline, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll it off the incline and let it start to heat up. As it heats, once it gets to full operating temperature, then I'll check it again. I may even have to drive it around the corner or something just to help it get up to temperature, and then I'll check it again. Okay, this is the final procedure. I was moving so fast that I almost forgot, right? So I've got the engine running. I've already made sure the proper fluid is in here. I've added a little over 10 quarts back, right? And so now this is the computer. This is a launch computer. Sorry I didn't get the first part set up so you could see, but I almost forgot. So it tells you what to do when you go to the Quick Learn RFE. The engine brake must be, the park brake must be pressed, and you must put your foot on the brake, which I've got my foot on the brake, and then you hit OK. And then now it's going to tell you what to do. I don't know if I can. So it says, oh, I don't know if I can put this one here so you can see. It says move. Can't see it really. Yeah, it says move shifter to overdrive, so it's in drive. Now it says shift to neutral. It's in neutral. Now it says start sequence signal, move shift to overdrive. It's in overdrive. Quick learn procedure is in progress. Quick learn procedure complete, move shifter to park. And that's pretty much it, guys. Quick learn complete. So in order to go to it, you have to hit quick learn, right? And that's what I went to, and then I hit OK, and then OK, and then it takes you through the quick learn. And that's it. Not even 5 minutes. But that's it. And so now I'm gonna go on a test drive.
Well, guys, I hope this helped somebody. If you enjoy watching your little country bunking, then I hope I was entertaining for you. But I got it all together. Test driving it now. Going out for a little bit. Probably we're gonna visit my mom. So we're driving, giving it a good little drive. But the hard downshifting is all gone. So it's not shifting hard down anymore. It's shifting so smoothly, and it's actually running even cooler than it normally runs at high temps. So it was well overdue for that fluid change, and that's, as you saw earlier, the fluid was in fact dirty, and I think that spin-on filter was probably full as well with whatever it was catching, and so that was probably restricting a little bit. But it's happy for the fluid change. I can tell in the way it drives. It's saying thank you. Anyway, I'm glad I did not listen to the guy I saw in the store earlier this morning that said, don't go in that transmission. Don't touch that transmission. So anyway, the only thing I'm going to do now is keep an eye on it. I saw no leaks, so the gasket is also holding. But it takes about 24 hours to fully cure. It cures after about an hour. I let it sit before I added fuel after I finished doing what I had to do in the house. It was sitting for at least 3 hours or maybe a little over before I added the fuel, and the outer gasket was really, it was cured. But the labeling of the red gasket maker, the high temp gasket maker that I use, it says it takes 24 hours to fully cure. So I'll keep an eye on it tomorrow and for the next few days to make sure that I don't have any seepage or leakage coming from anywhere around the entire pan. And that's it. That's how you service a 68 RFE transmission on a Cummins. Have a blessed day.